Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss the ninth lesson. So that means communication for development. Okay. So let's see what are the points that you need to remember in this lesson. So the first thing, definitions and origin and development of development concept, and the second one, opinion on the concept of development. Then you have new trends in the concept of development, right? So you know what do you mean by what is this development means, no? So how we can use this communication for the development purpose. So that is the thing we have to discuss in this ninth lesson. Okay, so let's see what are the things that you have to remember in this lesson. So you need to, first of all, you need to remember these things: first world, second world, and third world. What are the countries that included in first word, in second word, in third word? So like that way you need to remember. So first word means, and also what is the ideology, what is the concept, what is the theory that they use, right? So what is the ideology they use, you need to remember that also. Okay, so here first world countries means countries such as United States of America, United Kingdom, Canada, Western European countries, those kind of thing. And you need to remember this ideology. What is that? Capitalist ideology, right? So they have used capitalist ideologies. Okay, so what are the countries? United States of America, United Kingdom, Canada, Western European countries. So you need to remember those countries. Then the second, and also this GDP, right? Gross domestic product. So of those countries happen to be the main economic plan. So sometimes they are asking those things in the questions. You need to remember that. The second one, that means the second world. Okay, so what are the countries? The members of the Soviet state, including countries such as USSR and China and Cuba. So here also the secondary level of GDP can be observed. And what is the ideology? That is communist ideology of Soviet state, right? Then the last one, that is the third world. That means our country also comes with this third world, right? We call in Sinhala Tungana Loke Ratawa, right? So third world countries. So Africa, India, right? So those kind of countries, Saudi Arabia, so those kind of countries we call as third world countries. And here you can see lower level of production and economic level is there with these third world countries. So these are the categories, three categories. So you need to remember because of based on the development. Okay, so you need to remember those. Then you have some points related to how this development came, right? Point by point, what are the different concepts? So first that was economic development, then development communication, development and communication, different teams are there, developmental communication. Then you have this national development. This is by actually Wilbur Schramm, right? National development concept for the third world cluster of countries, right? For those countries they have developed this kind of concept, that is national development, right? So those kind of thing, how it developed. Nowadays we are using the concept communication for development. Okay, so these are the things that you need to remember. Then this is the most important point, that means definitions, development definitions, right? You have three developmental definitions. So they are asking questions from these three. Okay, so you need to remember those things without changing any point. Okay, so first one, Dudley Sears says development is a reduction or elimination of poverty, inequality and unemployment. Second one, that means Edgar Owens, development is the development of people, human development, and not the development of things. Then the third one, it says Mahatma Gandhi, he says that the total development of society includes mental, spiritual and material needs. So these three scholars has mentioned about the development with different perspectives, right? So here in the first one it says development is a reduction or elimination, that means reducing poverty. That means if, now think about, for example, if somebody is not having any job opportunity, so what is happening? That means the unemployment, right? No employment is there. So there is they becomes this kind of poor people because they lack money, right? So this inequality is raising because we can see one is having money and another is not having. So like that way inequality is there. So we have to reduce these three concepts: poverty, inequality and unemployment, if you want to be this kind of development. If you need to reach for this development, we have to reduce these three concepts: poverty, inequality and unemployment. So you need to remember that. Then the second one, development is the development of people and not the development of things, right? So here Edgar Owens has mentioned another perspective. With another perspective, development of people, the exact development means not the development of things but the development of people, right? So if there is so many things, developmental process, technological development maybe, right, that is not we call as the development. But what do you mean by this development? That is human development, right? The people needs to be developed, their mentality, their thoughts, right? All those kind of things must be developed, right? So that is it. Then the third one, it says the total development of society includes mental, spiritual and mental needs, right? Sorry, material needs, right? So here what is happening? So Mahatma Gandhi, actually this scholar, maybe we cannot say scholar, actually he has mentioned about these things in another perspective, like psychological perspective, right? So you can see how he talks about the our minds, right, our spiritual well-being, those kind of things, right? So that is very important thing. The total development of society includes mental, spiritual and material needs. Now think about, if one is having a big car, a big house, so that is not the development of that person. But what needs to be? He need to develop his mind, right, his thoughts, and for he has to maintain this spiritual well-being, right? He need to do mediations and those kind of thing. He has to mention now think was practice those kind of thing, right? So that is the development of a person, right? So all the things must be there. So remember those three definitions separately. So because they are asking questions directly, right, I will show you some examples also in the next time. So this is the definitions, okay? Then you have communication for development. That means how we can use this communication for development purpose. So here also you can see some examples are there, example definitions, you can read them. And Silvino Weiss board has mentioned about 5 ideas of the application of communication for development. So here also you can see top down and bottom up approaches, and you have toolkit, okay, and interpersonal communication and multimedia activities. Then the fifth one, it says about the environmental factors, right? So like that way, that is from Silvio Weiss board. So then you have Srinivas Melkot. Here also you can see some 5 small points, right? So finding solution critically for human social problems. We have to find answers, or we have to find solutions for the problems in this public or the people. For if you need to go for this kind of development, right? So like that way you have different points, different things to be understood as the how we can use this communication for the development purpose, okay? So these are the things that you need to remember as the definitions of this communication for development, okay? So remember them. After that, let's see the last part in this lesson, that means the new trends in the concept of development, right? So here also you can see some important points, because sometimes they are asking those things in the questions, these kind of ideologies, different theories, right? So here the first phrase, top down or trickle down phenomenon, modernization ideology, right? Modernization ideology. Then you have dependency theory, depend on the economy of the more developed countries, that is dependency theory. That means dependency theory means what? Depend on the economy of the more developed countries. So sometimes they are asking, what do you mean by dependency theory? So you need to remember that. What is that? Depend on the economy of the other developed countries. Then you have the next theory, that is modernization theory. That means some countries, despite the rich, do not rise to the level of modernization. That means this kind of modernization theory means we have to avoid those poverty, right? And we need to plan for the modernization, right? So that is modernization theory. That means so here you have two theories in the first place, dependency theory and modernization theory. Nowadays we can see our country also reach with this modernization. Okay, then mid praise, diffusion of innovation. So most of the time they are asking about this theory, right? Theory of diffusion of innovation by Everest Rogers. So here that means technological perspective, the role of media channels to transfer development message to the masses, right? So that is by the technological weave, that is diffusion of innovation, right? So you need to remember that also. So here you have three theories: dependency theory, modernization theory, and theory of diffusion of innovation. Okay, so those are the things that you have to remember in this point. Then you have the nature of development concept, right? So this is from United Nations, right? Sometimes they are asking from that point, United Nations, by the context of United Nations. So what are the points? What are the four communication approaches? So you need to remember these four and also suitable example. Okay, so first one, it says communication for behavioral change. We can use communication in order to change one's behavior, in order to change the total society, right? For the advocacy and also strengthening and enabling media and communication environment, we can use these things. We can use the communication for these kind of purposes. Okay, so you need to remember them, and you have some different concepts. Remember those things also. People centered means necessities of the we have to know about the necessities of the people by themselves, right? So that is people centered. Then you have localization, that means the use of development approaches that suits one's own context of the country, right? So you can remember some examples like the implementation of rural development projects, right? So for the alleviation of poverty, so those kind of thing we can say some examples for this localization. And some other factors also there are: deforestation, avoiding the desertification, and protection of forest, water management, safeguarding the biodiversity, those kind of thing. Then you have building social relationships and equality. We have to build social relationships and also equal opportunities must be there, right? So then, so what are the features that lies in the building of social relationships and equality? We have to avoid these things, right? Lack of special human rights. If there is special human rights, what will happen? There is no any equality inside in this society, between these, among these people who live in the society. So there must be we have to avoid those special human rights. Okay, so like that way we have to see what are these things, this kind of class divisions, right? Class differences, we have to avoid those things. Then you have poverty alleviation, that means we have to reduce the poverty, right? So here also you can see some examples. Okay, for this purpose we can sustainable livelihood, opportunities for enterprises, developing fruitful wealth capacities, right? And different things are there, helping the women who are trapped in the inequality circle due to poverty, right? So we can help for them, right? Yeah, so those are the things that you have to remember as the poverty alleviation. Then you have participation of people for policy making. We can participate more people for the policy making also. That is also very important point. Then you have communication necessities for development. These kind of things also they are asking in the questions, in most of the time in the second part, right? So here that is from Food and Agriculture Organization. So these 3 points. Then UNESCO, right? So UNESCO also mentioned about these things, about the how we can use this communication for development. Another concept is media quality. There must be this media quality. Okay, so media education, right? So disaster management, those kind of thing. Yeah. Then what are the other things that you need to remember. So here some of concepts are there, right? You can read them and understand. Then another important point is conflict resolution. In order to settle a conflict, there are some steps, right? In the MCQs, in the second part, they are asking about this one also, right? So what are the steps? First one, understanding the conflict. Second one, communicating with the opposition or opposing parties. Third one, presenting the needed suggestions, selecting the best suggestion, mediating with a third party, finding alternative issues, global development for the finding alternative issues, right? So global development means another point, right? So these are the things that you have to remember. So we have to understand the conflict first. After that, we have to communicate with the other parties. After that one, we can present suggestions, and we can select the best suggestion, and we can work as the third party, and we can find other alternative issues, right? So these are the steps that you need to remember. For this global development, we can improve these developmental projects, right? So you need to remember those examples also. We can find information from the websites in YouTube. You can see so many examples are there. You can use them. Yes, so those are the things that you need to remember. Understanding the reason for communication, planning the work leading to communication for development purposes, detailing communication activities leading to development, deciding the suitable communication ideologies, estimating the expenses. So these are the things that you need to remember if you are going to do a project, right? Yes. Then another concept also there, need centered actions, right? Here you have some other concepts also, self-determination, here you have skills and links, right? Self-confidence, building better environment. Then the last point is participatory democracy. Like before, we have to work as a group, right? A group feeling. So that is participatory democracy. For the development, only one person, they cannot work for the development for a total. Now think about, as a society, as a country, we have to, as a country, we all need to support for this development. Otherwise, one particular person cannot drag us for this kind of development. Okay, so as a citizen in this country, you also have the responsibilities to do that, right? So that is communication for development. Okay, so remember those important points and study some examples. Yeah, so that is it, and study well.